I am big
clicking the
sad.
button. I have clicked the button now. The button has been clicked. We should be
1 minute
live.
early. You have.
No, we're not 1 minute early.
Well,
See,
to
boom.
me it says. To me it says. It just turned
Look at the
9 o'clock.
yeah,
It
exactly,
just turned
exactly.
9.
And if you factor in the delay, that is exactly how late it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Almost down to the second. I'm a professional, man. I do this for a living.
And yet you are cursed by the Omnissiah.
Yes.
Do not deny it.
This is why probably we were like 1 or 2 seconds off.
Yeah. Anyways, one of the things I wanted to discuss is one, YouTube has finally removed the dislike button from their website. So far, it hasn't happened for the YouTube app on mobile phone, as far as I'm aware, because I'm still seeing them.
Wait, weren't they gonna keep the button?
They've kept the button, but they're just not showing the numbers, is what I mean.
It's fucking dumb, dude. The
Yeah.
literal only reason this is the case is so like big corporate media videos can also like they already
Megacorp.
turn off the comments all of the time. So there's no way of expressing your disapproval against big corporate media shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, I honestly, there's like part of me that thinks they're gonna come out with a rewind.
Yeah. Now that the dislike button isn't there, we can finally have a rewind.
Yeah.
Sir, we've released a rewind, but the number of likes does not match the amount of viewership.
Because
What do you mean?
they already have
What do you mean?
mechanisms in place to like
Sir.
censor specific comments.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, sir, we have 0 likes.
Yeah.
Imagine if that was the case as protest against that. They were like, yeah, you know what? We're not going to like rewind this year.
This might be what happens in response to this because honestly, is this fucking like imagine living in a world where the only way you can express disapproval is not expressing approval. Like the poor autistic people of the world. There's fucking like social details that you have to memorize. I fucking hate this culture anyway of like you cannot approve like you cannot disapprove of something.
Yeah, exactly. It's fucking fucking sucks, man. It's like, oh, but you're being so negative. I'm just expressing some disapproval. Take it like a fucking bitch, please. Christ.
It's like the shit is just shit sometimes. You have to fucking you have to be a grown up about experiencing disapproval. But this is like people who think that anytime anyone disagrees with them, it's bullying.
Oh no, you're being a bully. It's like, I can bully you right the fuck now if you don't fucking shut the fuck up.
The
You
thing about
fucking
bullying
bitch.
is really that it's like a the purpose of bullying in like a socialization context
Process.
is that it is supposed to ensure that people behave in ways that are socially acceptable. Like that is why we
The
bully.
thing is, I think the problem is bullying is being redefined as a term, which, terms get redefined all the time. Yes, I agree with that. I completely understand that. The one thing I would say though is that some terms should never be redefined. Under no circumstance should they ever, under pain of fucking death, should they ever be redefined. That includes bullying.
It's not. I don't. I wouldn't even call it that. Honestly, it's like people know what bullying is. The problem is that bullying, in a very real sense, very often gets extremely out of hand, and people suffer from that. That's true.
Yeah, for sure.
This
But
is like,
I
but
still,
it's still like the ultimate. The reason why, especially teenagers, have an instinct to bully, is because of precisely this. So you shame people into. It's like literally right now, you know people that are not vaccinated, and you don't invite them to social events. You make fun of them. Why? Because
yeah.
you are bullying them into changing their behavior in a way that is more socially acceptable. That is the purpose of bullying.
Who are we socially acceptably bullying into changing their behavior?
The non-vaccinated.
Yeah. COVID.
And that's
as well as people who hate bullies, because fuck those people.
No, it's fine hating bullies.
Do you actually put Nutella on your pasta? Did you actually do that?
Yes, I did actually do that. Do you want?
You
Burger
fucking
Man,
cretin. My respect for you has increased immensely.
I mean, I can
Burger
show
Man,
you
I
pictures. I
want
can
to
show you
murder you.
pictures of this.
I'm
Burger
seeing the
Man,
pictures. I'll just fucking look at Sate with
Jesus.
them good ass looking pancakes and glass noodles. Goddamn.
Oh my god. Look, I am willing to accept. What was it? Cramp pasta with lemon, perfectly fine.
Yeah, it's a very
Pumpkin
common
pasta.
and popular
Pump.
pasta dish.
Yeah, well, I don't necessarily like it, but that's mostly because I don't necessarily like lemon. I'm fine with lemon on some occasions. Sometimes I'm not. Bit iffy. Um, the one thing I do not stand, however, is pumpkin pasta, which is just way too sweet for a pasta, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I've never had that. Is it made with or like, is the pasta made out of pumpkin, or is there like
No,
pumpkin on
it's
the
like
side or something?
pumpkin sauce. It's pumpkin sauce.
Okay, well that's.
Sauce.
Like pure pumpkin sauce.
I'm not
Just
even
pure
like
pumpkin.
I don't understand why people are so obsessed with pumpkin. I'm not that into it. I'm like it's but I like the texture of like pumpkin cream soups and shit, but not. But yeah, I made this. This is a real thing that I actually made IRL.
And consumed. You've
Yeah.
consumed the Nutella
Yeah.
pasta.
I made this years ago. I'm currently in the process like of just casually brainstorming ways of redoing this recipe in a way that it might actually work. Because if you look at it, like it didn't taste great. It didn't taste very Nutella-y. It was very very sweet, in like way too sweet in a way that I didn't like. So I might actually go with what I did was instead of using salt in the pasta water, I used sugar. But I feel like I might have overdone it there, and maybe salt is the way to go, even to just like provide a contrast.
It might
Um,
be.
and probably I'm going to use the pasta water to emulsify the sauce better. And I might not even end up using Nutella as such, but some other. Germany has a lot of like Nutella variants, like Nuspli, which is like actually made with a lot of nuts as opposed to mostly whatever the fuck is in Nutella. It's way better. So I actually might end up making this recipe in a way that is sort of good, and then like white chocolate sprinkles on top. I feel like would be a very good garnish for this kind of dish.
Mm.
Yeah.
Nice. Wait, what would be the garnish for it?
Actually, you know what? It could be like a Nutella and caramel sauce.
No,
Um,
dude, you gotta put like a wafer cookie on there, like crunch up some
yeah, that
wafer
might
cookie.
that might also be a good topping
Yeah.
for it. Yeah,
Let's,
good
let's just
garnish.
make this we'll just make it with as many different
Hello.
textures as possible. Hi,
Hello,
Kashi.
Kashi.
What's
Oh,
good,
hey, Kashi.
haters?
I've got some kind of bad news, I guess you could say. So I've just found out that apparently they're cutting down buses, in London, as well as tubes. So they're reducing the number of tubes and reducing the number of buses in
Freaking
London.
cringe, man.
Wait, how do you reduce the number of subways in a city? Their physical look. How do you fucking like? You can't like. Do you erase the tunnels from existence? How does that work?
No. You just reduce the amount of tubes that
Of
pass by.
Of
the
Oh, they're
cars.
I suppose the
Oh.
trains.
Yeah,
Yes.
but
they're not.
apparently they're not generating a lot of revenue because a lot of people are not using the tubes.
So this is a temporary cutback.
I'm not sure, and I would hesitate to say that under current government.
Because, like, okay, yeah, under current government,
Like, I
you
can-
just answered
under-
my question for me.
Like, again, we don't know. Could we still be under Tory government for a few years? Yeah, probably. And would they
Most
still be
definitely.
reinstated?
100%.
Under Labour, I'm hesitant to say no, but I do believe they wouldn't cut back on it. Maybe just
What?
reduce the fares, maybe. Or maybe they would cut back on it, but reinstate it.
Well, I mean,
Reinstate them immediately after.
is the London Tube one of those like neoliberal privatized organizations that the Tories decided needs to generate a profit? like the British railway
It's
system?
owned by, hang on, if I remember correctly, it's owned by TfL. Yeah, so London Tube.
Question:
Yeah.
Yes.
Is yeah is okay? Which party is conservative? Are the Tories the conservative or the Liberal Party? I
Yes.
think
Well,
what
so the
Tories are
United.
the conservative.
Yeah.
Liberal Democrats are kind of like, how to put this?
is that Labor?
No,
No,
Labour is
Labour
Labour.
is Labour.
And
Oh, is that straight up
you want to know what's
Democrats,
even more confusing? Labour is even though of course the British term for Labour is Labour with OU, the Labour Party in England and in Britain and also Australia is written the American way, so like this. That's
Oh,
Labour.
okay. Is the
Labour.
Labour Party is that left? Is that left or right leaning?
Left.
the Labour
Left.
Party
So
is the
Definitely
left-leaning
left.
party. Yeah, it's the party.
okay, that's like the
For
main
sure.
left-leaning party, and then the
Yeah.
Green Party is the
Tories.
fucking hippies.
Tories are like
What does Tory
blue.
stand for?
Tories. It's an old meaning. More or less, you had the Tories and the Whigs, which were two factions in Parliament back in the fuck. Back in the olden days when Parliament was a thing.
Oh, cool. All right.
Yeah, it's basically I think the Tory party rebranded into the Conservative
Yeah.
Party at some point. So they're officially called the Conservative Party, but they're called the Tories.
Yeah,
the Tory Party.
yeah.
Because the name just has that cultural impact or whatever.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
name just stuck.
Basically,
It's not even like a derogatory term.
Yeah. Well,
right.
technically nowadays, I guess you could say it is a derogatory.
I mean,
So,
yeah, it's because
philosophy
you literally
originated-
are a Tory at that point.
Yeah. So originated from the Cavalier faction, a royalist group during the English Civil War, so wanted to keep the monarchy in power. The Tories political faction then emerged in 1681, was a reaction to the Whig-controlled Parliament that supported the Cavalier Parliament, basically the ones who fought against the king and who won.
What the
Yep.
fuck?
Blah blah blah.
Cool new Discord trick. Looks like with the new update, you can when you paste an image, send it in a chat, you can edit the file name on it. So that's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, so TfL, Transport for London, is owned by Legal Status Executive Agency within GLA. I'm not sure what GLA means. Statutory corporation created by the state. Yes.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Oh my god! It's privatized then. They're like privatized in the structure of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what they did to you know how all the stereotype of German trains is that they run on time?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Germany the stereotype of German trains is that they are never on time because they aren't. And this is because like in the 90s Deutsche Bahn was privatized. Of course the government is the sole owner of it. Jesus, dude. Although there have been talks, the new government, one particular party in the new government, which is the Liberals, which thank God is the junior most party, really wants to sell some of those shares that are held by the government to private investors. Yeah, and it basically, like, ever since it was private, ever since it was turned into a corporation that's supposed to turn a profit, the quality of the service declined unbelievably.
The problem I feel is, while it's good in theory and sometimes in practice, the problem is you have to hold the government accountable for a lot of what they privatize. Or at least what they state privatize, I guess.
No, the problem is fundamentally that you cannot. This is not the kind of institution that cannot run on a profit incentive because the point.
Sorry.
Yeah. Because the point of providing public infrastructure is not to make a profit. It's not to make a profit, but to provide public transportation services to people everywhere.
It's to provide a service.
Mm. I love this
You ever,
shit. This
Excuse me.
fucking the senior citizens guess house prices thing, because it just demonstrates how unbelievably out of touch these people are.
Yeah.
You can't even get most cars for $35,000.
yeah, that's as much as
Mm.
probably a used car.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
for sure.
I was going to fucking say. I have a question.
Yeah.
How are people not aware? So how are I? You just have to like be knowing about fucking since like since a lot of these people are retirees, are they just oblivious to housing prices because they're not looking for houses anymore?
Oh
Or
yeah.
like
Probably.
is that the main reason? Like this woman doesn't know the prices of yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Sure. I remember fucking watching Mad Men. And one of the characters buys like like a large apartment in downtown Manhattan, and I think she says, "Oh yeah, this is $20,000." It's like, "Oh, $20,000? That's so expensive," and I'm like, "What the fuck for an apartment
it
in
was a
downtown
different
Manhattan?"
time, man.
Oh shit, dude. I mean, I know that like even adjusted for inflation, though, it's not. It doesn't keep up the way that it should. What's this fucking neuroscience thing, though? Sleeping longer than 6.5 hours at night associated with cognitive decline? Did they just change their minds about, like, all of the past 100 years or so of sleep science? Because this sounds like just
Yeah.
bullshit corporate propaganda.
Burger.
I'm
It's a
sorry,
fucking.
what
It's a
was the
fucking
bullshit?
Google. It's a
What
fucking
was?
Google headline. It's not. It's most likely bullshit.
I fucking honestly, I mean, it makes sense that they would say this because it's obviously.
Pasha, I interrupted you. What were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
What was it you said that just previously before I asked? You were saying something about sleeping time
Yeah,
and
it was
corporate all.
posted in studio that fucking you're only supposed to sleep 6.5 hours at night.
No, wait, isn't it
It's some
sleeping
headline.
longer? Yeah, sleeping longer. Oh my fucking god! I want to. Right,
It just sounds like fucking like
corporate ops
yeah,
for sure.
corporate fucking. I had
American corporate ops, I would say.
a
Look,
friend of
don't get me
mine.
wrong. Corporate ops in Europe are still, but compared to America, where just corporations rule the fucking country.
A friend of mine, like they currently Blizzard is having this whole thing with Bobby Kotick, who
Oh yeah,
it turns out the CEO of Activision Blizzard is a massive piece of shit. Who would have seen that coming? And so he's like on the World of Warcraft subreddit. He's like, well, because like the staff had a meeting with like executives and they weren't satisfied with the results of the meeting, and it was about like worker mistreatment and all that shit. And my friend is like, well, just fucking unionize at this point. Honestly, it is so far. You have to do it. Like, you can't
yeah.
keep complaining about this shit and then not unionize. There is just
But-
such a
but-
simple,
but-
obvious solution to all
but
of your
Bergamain-
problems.
But Burgerman, the commies are gonna infiltrate the union.
Yeah, literally,
Unions are commie. Oh,
immediately,
Even the
some
already. Well,
Some
Sorry.
motherfucker posts there as a result. Yeah, well, actually, I work in the video games industry, and I am very happy. I am treated very well by the video games industry, and I don't see how a union would help us in any way, shape, or form. And I would never want to
What is
work
your
for
job?
a union.
what is his job?
And he's like, excuse me, what did you just say? You wouldn't work for a union? What?
You don't work for a union.
Yeah,
the union
exactly.
works for you, asshole.
So he
Just
starts
pay a small
explaining
tip.
what a union is. And
So,
so the
actually-
response to this is basically, actually, I have worked, I did have to work for a union. I've done that before. I know exactly what a union is. And a union in no way helps with, like, pay or anything. And I am very happy working for the games industry. And I don't want to unionize. And it's,
If I can
it's
say-
so
Tell that to the
obviously
overworked
like
people.
a fucking
Tell
paid
that to the
shill.
underpaid fucking developers and anyone that is in development, that be QA, back end, front end, full stack. Tell that to them in their fucking face. They will fucking rip you apart, my fucking dude, if you're listening in on this.
Yeah,
Fuck you.
it's so fucking
As
absurd.
someone,
I
as
actually
someone who works in the software industry, which isn't as bad as the game industry, but it's still bad. Fuck
Don't you
you.
mean based?
So something that my mom told me though is she works in recruiting. She's a businesswoman for all her life. Something I'm not unions sound good, but she's experienced places where they overreach to the point of just fucking over efficiency for the sake of like protecting rights or something. Like to
yeah,
the point of
that's the
just
point.
bullying people.
You had
No, no,
that's the point of unions.
no,
They
no. But like,
yeah.
so just let me tell you. So the story she tells me is that when setting up in when doing some sort of convention in a Vegas hotel or something, she told me this where a guy was setting up a booth. She's actually maybe a story a friend told her as I was thinking about it, but like just hear me out for a second. She tells me a story of where apparently the guy, the booth setup guy, couldn't bring his own like plug in his own extension cord to the outlet to like set up whatever electronics he was using at his booth. A union employee had to come and had to bring their own cable and plug in the extension cord for I think I don't know if it's for an extra price, but like that was like this is in Vegas by the way, where apparently like unions are like hella pervasive. Like I am protecting the rights of workers. I'm not. I don't think that. I'm taking it's whatever like position that guy's in where he plugs the thing and would be
No,
taking away money from
this
him.
is the point of regulations like that. Even though if that did actually happen, that is a bit petty. But the point of shit like this is to make sure that you don't get non-union labor, because the way that that employers would get around, having to provide proper pay and working conditions, is that they would hire just non-union workers that would work for less and for worse wages, or just people who do different jobs. They would expand that job profile to like oust the union workers and put them out of a job. And so the union contract says this is the things that we do. This is our job, and you can't get other people who don't abide by the tariffs of the union, who don't enjoy the protections of the union, to do these things for cheaper and in a more dangerous environment.
Yeah, that's not feasible.
That's a
Alright.
very standard practice for unions to avoid, because it's a very nice workaround. Is you just destroy the union strategically like that, and then attack more vulnerable people, essentially by exploiting them, because they don't enjoy the support of the union. Yeah. Although, it's if you ask a lot of the union people, it's just that there's like they don't like scabs. But if we're
What are
gonna have a
scabs?
progressive perspective on it, yeah.
What are scabs?
Scabs are people who work even though they're not supposed to. Like when you have a strike, and they work anyway, those are scabs.
I'm okay. I get like in principle, I get the point. I get why that's bad. But sometimes you just need to make money. I don't think that's like
that is the big problem. That's the big problem that we
Yeah.
face. Is that on one hand, these people are making it worse for themselves and also all the other workers, but it is indicative of just how powerful the capitalist owner class is, that that people are desperate enough that they need to feed their family, that they will resort to these things where they actively sabotage their own interests and the interests of their fellow workers in order to be able to afford like the basic necessities of life.
Like, speaking of like working kind of when you're not supposed to, I kind of want to talk about a bit about my experience like working for the company I currently do,
Yeah.
which first of all, I'm not gonna say their company name, not
It's
gonna
the
mention
Gay
any
Sex
names at all.
Corporation.
Shit, I've been found out. But no, like not gonna mention any names related to the company, whatever. Just because I don't want to dox myself. But so this was like months back, but I remember once So we're a small company, right? We're only like currently, no, 10 people. Currently 10 people. Back then we were 8 people, and so we had just done a giant fucking commit. No, we were in the process of doing a giant fucking push to our production servers because we're a software development company. That's
Yeah.
how we do things. And we had a deadline of like a week, and I think I'd just come back from holiday. And I was the second QA there, right? And next thing I know, since I was away for a week, I didn't know what was going on because you keep your phone off from work. That's what you're expected to do here. So next thing I know, it's like, hey, we're gonna need this out in a week.
Yeah.
So
Then you had to like
and
work
no, 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 no,
overtime
no.
or
Just
what?
just just
Okay.
to explain this, this was a big feature at the time.
Yeah.
Like nowadays, it's not a big feature, but this was a big feature at the time. So a week's work was not going to fucking cut it.
Yeah.
So there were times where us, the whole team, just spent up to like 9 o'clock at night working on this shit.
Yeah.
And I remember this was the exact same moment where I had my stress attack. Well, not the exact same moment, but like a few days after I had a stress attack.
Yeah.
And I
It's
vowed to myself, never again am I going to go to work. The only thing I would ever promise myself is you will do, if it is required, you are going to do 1 hour extra. That is it. 1 extra hour, but no more.
well,
If it's needed, if it's like the feature needs to be out by tomorrow, you will say, okay, but I quit at 6.
yeah.
On the dot, like
Yeah.
6:30.
And
Never
that's the
again.
thing. This is a failure of management to properly plan this project and
Yeah, that is
allocate the
true.
resources they have. It's not upon the workers to then suffer for this
Mm.
by enduring these unfathomable periods of crunch. Like
Yeah.
that's not. It's this the company made a mistake, and the workers shouldn't have to pay for that.
No.
Especially if, the thing about overtime is that very often it ultimately turns out to be unpaid overtime. So a lot of corporations actually deliberately plan these things poorly, so they have these massive crunch periods in which they
Oh no,
just don't pay.
this wasn't deliberate. The one thing I will mention, this was not
Oh yeah,
deliberately
I'm not
planned.
saying this happened
We
in
had
your
stuck,
case.
yeah, but just to clarify, just to make sure that the whole context is given. Like we had planned stuff beforehand. The problem is we spent way too much time on one thing beforehand, as well as the fact that I probably chose the time to take my vacation sort of badly. Like
But that also
I
that is
knew we
not
had
your
a big
fault.
push.
That
Like,
the management should have known this.
mm,
If
I
I
mean,
mean, you don't just not show up at the office one day. Surely, you
yeah, no,
announce your
like
vacation.
yeah, no, we have like at minimum you have to have at least a
Yeah,
week notice
yeah,
before you take a holiday.
yeah,
And they say you can take as much time as you want, but please try and keep it till at least less than 2 weeks.
yeah.
Because more than 2 weeks, like if you're a central part of the development team, that just means we are kind of stuck.
Exactly. But this is like management handles
Yeah,
these
yeah.
things,
No,
and
management for sure handles this.
if they don't
But
do it correctly, that's not your fault.
I will say nowadays we do have a lot more planning, so we do try to avoid this kind of shit.
Yeah,
And it's like management realized this is like, oh well, fuck, we kind of stressed you guys out. So thank you a lot for that. We actually do plan on what's the word?
yeah. Well,
Recompensing your
that's
time,
good.
and
Uh,
we're going to make sure this doesn't happen again.
yeah. Yeah.
Like that is the one thing I will take from small companies is if they do a mistake, that mistake is going to hit them fucking hard. It's either going to sink them or keep them afloat.
It depends on the small company, but yeah, it's generally true that like small business is at least in like operational terms, often not as exploitative because they just have less power. Although there is
Mm.
this the new culture of anti-union labor, where there's people get like forced to work overtime and shit as like, oh, we're all this company, we're a family here. But it's not like we're a family here, but it's like a massive business with like millions of employees. But
Yeah.
it's like actually this I know everyone who works here. And like I know my boss is nice to me, and then what he ultimately does is he exploits you, but he does it with a smile on his face. It's like, oh no, you
Mm.
have to work unpaid overtime, otherwise I can't keep the business afloat. That is
Hey
something that
Mm.
guys,
also happens frequently.
Oh yeah, for
uh,
sure.
hey guys, on the bounce. Have a good one.
See you around, man.
Yep. See ya.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's not the case with my boss. Like, I
Yeah.
genuinely know my boss, and as well as the fact that she would not do that to me.
Yeah.
She would
That's
not do that
good.
to anyone, but she's completely incompetent when it comes to just anything technical, so she just leaves that to us, which is, you know,
Yeah.
kind of fun, I guess. But at the same time, that just means that it's more work for us because we have to make sure what we're saying is accurate. Because otherwise, she's screwed, the client's screwed, and we're screwed. Doesn't look good on us.
Yeah, it don't.
Yeah,
But yeah,
but that's why I'm hesitant to try and find a new job because I do not want to work for big companies.
oh yeah, no, I
But
definitely I
I'm going to need to. Like, I'm going to be asking for a raise soon, and I'm
yeah.
going to need at least a backup plan if they don't give me that raise because I'm not making a lot of money and I need a lot of money.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
the kind of thing that a union helps with.
Union would help with, but I mean, like, yeah, we should have a union. Well, not. I guess we could hire a union, basically. Mm,
No, you don't hire a union to become a member of a union, and then that union
yeah,
represents your interests.
yeah.
You should,
Okay,
if you're not unionized, you should get unionized, dude. There is
yeah,
literally it is only advantageous.
yeah.
Of course, it depends on the particular arrangement. There are like unions within unions, big confederations of unions that
This is
run certain like there's a there tend to be unions within a given corporation, but also like especially for big sectors. Like for instance, I don't think like Warner Brothers has the Warner Brothers Employees Union, but there is the union for like actors. There's unions
yeah, the
for
actor union.
writers. There's unions for metal workers and all that for like every kind of type of industry,
Yeah,
and they will
I know,
represent your
I know.
interests. Some corporations, of course, the really big ones, they just have like the Amazon workers would probably do an Amazon union.
Oh no,
Um,
I'm guessing. Yeah, but like I'm guessing like in America it's probably harder, but in
oh yeah,
Europe, since you have to adhere to European standards, even if you're in England, for
yeah.
example, you still have to have union.
Oh yeah,
I
this
wonder how
I
it's
the fucking
like
it's yeah.
that's the one thing I've come to kind of berate Americans about. It's just your economic model just fucking sucks. I don't care if you consider it like the best capitalist system in the fucking
It
world. The
isn't.
fact that yeah, no, I don't no, I'm
Yeah.
saying like I don't care if you an American consider it to be the best capitalist system in the world. The fact that your workers can't unionize very easily is just
Yeah.
fucking dumb.
I mean, you see that like there was the greatest prosperity among working people when unions were strong. There was a golden age of the economy in the United States, and it wasn't when the market was deregulated.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, it's pretty obvious.
Mm.
But of course,
Mm.
there's the
Bring
massive
back
amounts
Teddy Roosevelt.
of no, that wasn't Teddy Roosevelt. That was Franklin D. Roosevelt. Teddy is a different guy.
Right.
He was earlier.
Yeah,
Um,
but didn't he do some union busting himself?
I
No, not union busting. Sorry. Uh, no, he didn't do union busting. He did corporation busting or
I do
what's the word?
not know. You're talking about Teddy, right? Not FDR.
Yeah, Teddy Roosevelt, the guy who introduced national parks
He
into
may
America.
have. I don't know exactly.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what he did. Oh, he broke up monopolies. That's the
Yeah.
one thing he did.
But I mean, like Franklin D. Roosevelt is the reason why there's term limits in the United States, because he was doing shit for the working class. He was actually materially delivering on important reform that was good for like working people, and as a result, he was so popular that he got
An
reelected over
enemy
and
of the
over again.
state.
Um, and so the Republicans figured out that hey, if we can ever have a chance of fucking not, you know, if we ever
Yeah,
want
no,
to
I
have
see what you mean.
if we ever want if our party is to survive, we need to put in term limits and shit because this guy is too popular. And then he died. So
Look, the one thing I will say is if we ever find a way to bring back people from the dead, just bring back Teddy Roosevelt and Franklin D. Roosevelt.
they didn't
Those are the
actually
only thing
know
you
each
really need.
other, by the way. They were the same family. They didn't know each other.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
I know because like Teddy Roosevelt died in like what was it, 1920?
I mean, they were alive at the same time, but only when like FDR was a child for a while, and Teddy was
Yeah.
very old.
Mm.
Yeah. They never like met. That has to be. I mean, I say that has to be weird. We've literally had one president, and then his son became the next president. Not the next president,
Who
but you know
who is that?
they skipped a few. George H.W. and George W. Bush.
Oh right, yeah.
They weren't consecutive, but like they, and also it's like even the weird thing about what if we had like a president that's just like a CIA guy with fucking with Buttigieg. I George H.W. Bush was literally the boss of the CIA before he became president. Like
Jesus Christ.
this has happened before.
Mm.
Uh yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Sometimes when I look at the world, I just think to myself, God damn it, why do we live in such a
Unionize.
dystopian? Yeah, just
Unionize.
I
I'm
think if
unionized.
look, this is just like completely what I found kind of pretentious of me, but if the US was a lot more European, apart from instead of its own thing, I think we wouldn't have as many problems as we did.
Oh yeah,
And if
it's
it
the
was closer to
empire.
the European Union.
It's culturally it's the empire. Everything that happens in the US
Yeah,
has a massive impact on the rest of the world.
yeah, I know that.
Um,
But yeah,
so
you know.
yeah, if yeah, absolutely, I agree with you on this. Um, if they
The one
had
thing
more,
I do wonder.
I mean, that's what they're striving for too. Like, let's not like be
Are
this is
they?
like the American people. They'll no, they want the same kind of labor protections that we have in Europe. They want a good minimum wage and
Yeah,
shit.
no, for the regular people for sure, but
Yeah,
the regular working class people, that is. Not sure most of the middle class, if they still exist at this point, would want to.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. There is a cool video that Bigot just posted about how to unionize your workplace,
Another slice. Here,
which
give this a watch, Punch.
yeah.
Thank you. By the way, thank you, my dude. Gonna have to watch that during work tomorrow. Damn.
That is praxis, dude. That is fucking praxis. Learning how to unionize on company time.
I mean, technically, I am working. I'm just
Yeah,
watching something that will help me work at the same time.
yeah.
But
It's
nah, like
important.
I do this on a semi-regular basis now that I've been working from home for a while. I just put on something that I can listen to that's not too visually demanding and just focus on work.
Yeah, I basically can't do it. Like, there's a lot of things that when I do them, I need to have something else going on. Otherwise, my mind will wander too much.
Yeah, no,
Um,
that's fair. Like sometimes that happens to me, but I try to like keep focused because I know, like especially if I'm going to demand a raise, I need to be top 100%.
yeah, Yeah, and honestly, I hope you get that raise.
I hope so too, but I think I need a backup plan first. Like I need to look for another company to
It's
join.
fucked up that you need that, like to get
The
paid an
thing is,
amount that is more contingent with like how
so
much you work. You need to have
if
like
I
an
can,
exit strategy.
like, no, that's just how it is right now in this capitalist society.
Yeah,
I
it's fucked up.
I don't necessarily think it should change too much because I think that is in a way sort of healthy. This is my experience, at least as someone working, but it seems like a
Well,
thing
most
to
of the
do
time, if
because
you have, if yeah,
if you are valued at a company, which I'm going to brag a bit, but I genuinely think I am worth a lot in the company I currently work for. But if you have a lot of value, they are going to go out of their way to chop off a leg and say, here is a lot more raise. Like, here's a significant raise. You know, we are outbidding whoever you're going to just to make sure you stay in this company because you are valued.
that's something that happens like ultimately very rarely though.
Yeah,
And
true.
you are much more likely to just make shit money if you don't have like tariff shit. And I mean, there's not. This depends on the union contract, obviously.
Mm.
Very often, like tariffs, tariff. What's the fucking the English term for this? There's like a
Tariffs.
fixed. If you work in a certain position, you get this amount of money per hour, and this is for all workers who work in this
Um,
position. Uh,
but
there is a specific term for this.
I know
This
what
is
you mean. I
yeah.
know what you mean, but I cannot for the life of me remember the words.
So there is. I do think that it is allowed that you for most in most of these contracts that you can pay people more, but you
Oh
can't pay
yeah, for
them
sure.
less. And so it's always in your interest to unionize.
Yeah.
Because you will always be in a stronger negotiating position. And also, a lot of the time, you won't have to do the negotiating. The union will do the negotiating for you. They have people who do that, who are good at it.
Mm.
And this is also how you get rid of the fucking. This is something that I posted recently on Twitter, recently ish. Like the wage gap. Everybody talks about the fucking wage gap.
It's like you're
How
not
often
talking about solutions.
How often have you heard these girl boss feminists say unionize,
Yeah,
unionize
that's going to get rid of the wage gap.
and
For
get
fuck's
tariff
sake.
wages? Yeah,
Actually, now that you're mentioning it, I'm just realizing, like, yeah, if there were unions in the first place, we wouldn't be having this discussion with fucking. Well, we would, but to a lesser
yeah,
extent, and
yeah.
it would
It
be less
wouldn't like
valuable.
in the same for the same work that wouldn't happen.
But what would we know? We're just mansplaining shit.
Yeah, because it's such a fact. Oh, that women are not as like tough at negotiating, and they get there's various systemic factors playing against them in that case. Okay, unionize, and the union will give you the wage. I mean, they won't give you the wage, but they will negotiate on your behalf, and you will
Yeah.
have a better position. But of course, because all this fucking girl boss bullshit is like liberals, they don't talk about
Fucking
that.
liberals.
They don't want
The
you to unionize. They don't
fucking
want you to fucking
liberals.
cost the capitalist owner class any money. They want you to. They want basically. They want public pressure to get more millionaire women into big CEO positions. That's the goal of it.
I think they only want it for the pum pum. You get me, man.
The what?
Basically, pussy.
No, that's
They
but
only
that's
want to
the
do that
opposite
for
of what's
pussy.
happening, though.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah, they're against. That's like against sexual. That's the one thing where I'm unironically like, okay, very good. Let's be against sexual harassment in the workplace.
The bosses don't believe it. I refuse to believe the bosses believe that.
I don't know. The
Like
female bosses may believe it.
the female bosses, yes,
Yeah, but
but the
that's
male
the yeah,
bosses, no.
of course, yeah, but that's not the
Like, come on,
point. That's not the point I was making.
I
This
don't
is
care.
about the girl bosses. This is not about the other people. And if you get it's difficult to sexually harass someone who is in a position of power over you. That's kind of a difficult thing to make happen.
Fair. No, you got a
Which
point.
also, that whole thing, unionize, and it becomes much less of a problem.
Mm.
Because you don't go to HR as a result of this, you go to the union. Because the HR is there to protect the company. If you accuse someone of sexual harassment, they will make sure you shut the fuck up. Because it reflects badly on the company. The union represents your interests.
Well, what the fuck happened with Bobby Kotick is exactly what you're describing.
Yeah,
They want you to shut. Well, no, technically it was Bobby Kotick himself who was telling people to shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Unionize. Activision Blizzard people, unionize.
I'm not sure they would let them. They'd fucking fight tooth and nail for that.
It's unbelievable the amount, like, the power of union busting that goes on in the United States. I'm gonna, on Saturday, there's a video coming out that's not explicitly about union busting, but it's a big part of the whole process. Because consider this, right? This whole, like, cancel culture thing already like, the people who were actually affected by it are not like J.K. Rowling or fucking
the small people.
Hell. The people who are affected, exactly, they're like working class people who lose their livelihoods because they sang a rap song, right?
Like, for example, there was this prominent example here in the UK where was it a health worker or either a teacher who went to Africa?
Yeah.
And who made a tweet like, "Oh, I'm going to South Africa. I hope I don't get AIDS." Oh, wait, joking. I'm white. She got canceled for that shit.
Doesn't even have to necessarily be a racist joke. That may well be like I am privileged joke.
Yeah, no, that is for sure I am privileged.
But imagine this, right? And imagine this in an age where social media companies, who are already selling union-busting products, by the way, explicitly union-busting products to massive corporations. But imagine the kind of access that your boss has to your private life. You know what I'm saying? Through social media and shit. That these massive corporations can, if they find out that somebody is unionizing, right? Somebody's leading the effort to unionize, they can troll through that person's social media and find something that they said in the past that was fucked up, or that they did, that they could get cancelled for. And then all they need to do is make like an egg account and put the Twitter mob on them. And with a little touch of luck, they will soon be getting dozens and fucking maybe like 100 emails, because it's never a big crowd. But they will get a fuck ton of emails in the context of the company begging them to fire this union-busting person for being evil. The person who wants to unionize for being evil. You know what I'm saying? It's so easy.
I get you.
And like Amazon being the tech company that it is, it can just do that.
But of course it can, because it's fucking massive.
So given that I know that this has been done before, I only expect that it will be done more and more now that there's like increased, because unionization is becoming incredibly popular, especially among Amazon workers. I expect it's going to happen a lot more in the future. Because they can
maybe.
They can. They just can.
We're gonna have the first fucking bosses to fucking go into fucking space, aren't we?
Well, we already did.
Oh,
Bezos has been to space.
Wasn't there also another one from? The fucking Brits. Which, as a Brit myself, I would genuinely like to apologize for that. But the boss from Virgin.
Yeah, Branson. Yeah. The funny thing is, that shit is also, to a huge extent, fueled with taxpayer money. It's subsidies.
Yeah.
Like it's not even fucking like
The
oh
one
these billionaires are investing their money into space exploration.
mm,
No, no, they're not.
speaking of kind of on an unrelated note, actually, but this kind of comes in at subsidies. So, my one question is to all the people who genuinely still believe, like, yeah, like this is not like a climate change. This is a climate change argument or question. This is just me being genuinely curious. Why do people still believe like unrenewable energies are good? Like this is a genuine question from me who believes in renewable energies.
Propaganda.
Like why not switch to them? Like you've heard the benefits. Like
I don't. I
unrenewable.
don't want there to be a big propeller that I can see anyway.
Oh yeah, okay, that I can understand because it ruins the sites. But
It
like,
doesn't though. It really doesn't. I fucking hate that argument. It doesn't look bad. Those things are beautiful. Like
in a
it's just
modern
it
artistic sense,
yeah.
in a modern artistic sense,
Frankly, if
but
it me,
I
it's not. And frankly, it's not a valid argument. Oh, I don't want. I don't want to see that. Oh well, you want to fucking die then? You want to burn alive? You piece of shit. Like it's
I mean,
fucking. But that's
probably making them feel like pieces of shit doesn't help.
that's the. But at this point, it's like people who don't get vaccinated. Like this is the caliber, and also like the main thing, of course, is the propaganda, and that the most people don't know that there is an
Like,
unbelievable. What was it like $11 million per second in coal subsidies is being busted out by the American government in some way, shape, or form, or Western governments in total. Like this is the main reason they always talk about like subsidies for renewables. Subsidies for renewables are not nearly as much as
mm,
subsidies for fucking fossil fuel industry shit.
okay, yeah, no, that I understand.
And the main reason that like even with these like, incredible subsidies is in like some countries renewables are cheaper than fossil fuels.
Yeah, yep. Australia,
Uh,
for example.
Yeah. Yeah, and this the response to this is oh we need to put more subsidies into fossil fuels because we need to maintain the narrative that they're shit they're better than renewables. It's honestly
Yep, here's the propaganda.
yeah it's completely propaganda. Like there is nothing about this that is in any way congruent with reality. It's just rich people
Propaganda.
wanting
Or
to
like propaganda.
exactly
Mm,
exactly
fucking got him.
yeah. I don't fucking know. This kind of shit pisses me off.
I can get why it pisses people off.
But yeah, I mean, it's the literal end of the world. Like, I feel like if you're not pissed off, there might be something wrong with your brain. Um,
Mm,
I can understand people being apathetic, like wanting it but being apathetic
but
to it.
if you really know the stakes, and if you really know, like, if you, I get being apathetic because you don't know what's going on. Like, you have like a vague idea of, oh, the situation is bad. But just the like the because the thing that people think is that oh it's just we're doing everything we can, and the fact of the matter is that's just not true. We're doing the barest of bare minimums of what might be possible, and that's the problem. The problem is not a logistical one. The problem is that it isn't even that most people don't want more to happen because most people want more to happen. The
mm,
problem is that like a handful of very powerful people don't want anything else to happen. And
Yeah.
I feel like if you actually, if when people like know this, if you knew this, you have to be livid about it. Like it's either that
Mm,
or you literally don't care about the end of the world.
I, yeah, it sucks sometimes.
That or you're too
Yeah.
burnt out to care. That also I feel like is acceptable.
I can understand. Like, I times I just feel completely burnt out where I'm like, I just don't. care anymore.
Yeah.
It's like nothing. I feel
Yeah.
burnt out by the system, I guess.
Yeah, which
I
is
feel
part of
that.
that's part of like the tactic. Is there's a lot of resources are devoted to the you like burning leftists out, like splitting them up, making sure that they don't do the work, that they don't continue showing up, right? To just transform everyone into doomers. That's one of the main tactics that is done against any sort of grassroots movement, because grassroots movements, anything that is based on like collective action, relies on the collective actually being on board with the action. So if you demoralize people of that collective by illustrating just how powerless they as individuals are, the collective also becomes less powerful. And that's that's a massive part of the tactic. To just make you think you have no power, or make you think, or this is even worse because it's so cuntish. I was looking for a more elaborate word, but I think this is the most fitting one.
Eloquent. Eloquent word is what you're looking for.
It's to make you think that you as an individual have the responsibility, and not you as part of someone who can take part in collective action. Like that you have a personal responsibility to fix climate change, so that you start doing shit that is completely ineffective, but then feel as though you have done the activism that you should do. That you have done your part in saving the planet, even though you've done literally absolutely nothing at all, so that you don't go to do something that is actually effective. Because that is the thing that they fear, is that people start doing shit that is actually effective and might cut into their bottom line. Is this the ice caves again, Kashi? Is there...
Huh?
Or is this a different biome? Or is this like...
No, this is
this is a different biome, yeah.
It was because now that there's more light, it's no longer blue as much. I mean, the blue shades are a bit difficult to detect at this point because it's sort of late, so my screen does a color correction.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, why the fuck are there so... I mean, hello, welcome everyone who is watching.
Crystalline Caverns.
Check channel. Damn, there's actually people
What
posting
do you mean you
chat.
didn't introduce yourself yet, Burger? What is this?
Welcome,
you
hello?
massive shitty host.
Why are you watching this?
Seriously.
This is the Patreon live stream where I hang out with Patreon people. I mean, welcome to be here. Actually, the death thing, that's kind of bullshit. If you were to kill a newborn in the Western world, you would delay the climate catastrophe by maybe 1 second. That's nothing.
Would you now?
And this is a newborn in the Western world. That is like the maximum amount that you can reduce it by. And other people of other ages in other places in the world, and this isn't even like a working class newborn in the West. It's less than that. So. Right, you'd need, like, the amount of people you would need to kill and this is, once again, this comes back to the thing that essentially it's like 100 corporations that are doing 75% of all the missions.
Yeah.
Right, it's not ordinary people that are responsible for these missions. It's massive, powerful corporations. Why do I stream it? Because I can. I stream it because I need a reason to have these cool like titles because I have so many of them.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like Hunger of Hard R, which honestly, it's like an obscure racist joke that is like a D&D reference.
The D&D reference.
It's not even the joke isn't even like that racist. It's just a reference to racism existing. And also to promo it, like, oh look, you could be having so much fun with me listening to me rant about climate change while I watch somebody else play video games. Most of the $20 plus patrons don't even show up to these streams.
No, they just
Actually,
give the money because
think-
Burger deserves it.
I think most of them show up like every once in a while, but regularly it's rather few. Especially right now with the whole daylight savings thing.
I fucking hate daylight savings. It's just another big conspiracy.
It's really fucking dumb. Yeah, I have banger titles for my streams, not so much for my other videos.
Because you suck.
Because for the streams I can focus just on the title. Right? I can just do a joke. It doesn't even have to do, like, nothing in this stream is hunger of hard R. You know what I'm saying? But in a video, it needs to be, like, relevant to the video and shit. Yeah, so... But I do love my titles. I do love them.
He does spend quite a lot of time on his fucking titles, as per usual.
You know what, actually, for these, I don't. I have a list, and, like, sometimes I will just come up with one and write it down. And then when the day comes, I just pick one from the list, and then I laugh.
Then you laugh till all high heavens. You fucking psycho. You massive fucking twat.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Fucking hell. Goddamn, this overall is pretty damn dope.
So this is you're not mining for resources as much as that you're, like, installing a machine of some kind?
Huh?
In this mission?
Hold on, let me turn it up. You're mining for this thing called liquid morkite.
Yeah.
Basically oil.
Yeah. But
I don't know if...
But it's because earlier the mission before this, you were, like, traveling around
Yeah.
and finding ore deposits, but this is, like, a different mission type.
Yeah, this is a different mission type.
Yeah.
Did someone say oil?
Yeah.
That's it, man. For
I
those
don't
of you
know.
who understand that reference, good on you, mates.
Yeah, I don't actually know what morkite is in this universe, honestly.
It probably is oil.
Well, it's also you can also find it like that blue stuff you saw me mining in that other mission. That's also morkite. So
They didn't come up with enough names for magic minerals.
yeah.
Okay. This game, it looks cool, but like the gameplay looks cool also. This is like my Borderlands type shit. But the problem is with these kinds of games, I don't like multiplayer shit. I want things to happen on my time. Even Borderlands, I don't play multiplayer. I play that alone.
Yeah, I barely play multiplayer games. It's mostly just with friends and it's just co-op. Nothing else.
Yeah, I don't like I'm not
just
a big
the
fan
other
of
day.
competitive games at all. It's just like
Apart from TF2.
This isn't really a competitive game.
Because I remember TF2 is like a lot of it is about the fun. But like the thing about competitive is that
It's
if you play these games, and there's always going to be someone who has dedicated their entire life to it, and who's like just incredibly good at it. And if you know, it's clear, it's impressive to see. Like a very good friend of mine, probably one of my absolute best friends of all time. He's like a freak about getting really good at games, right? But this is like his main hobby. But getting good at games isn't my main hobby, and I have like a more than a full-time job even, really. So I don't have the time for it, right? And I'm not that passionate about video games. I just play them to have fun.
Yeah, exactly.
I prefer like co-op shit and.
The only thing I will ever get competitive about is achievements.
Yeah,
and even then, it's like a rare thing.
I don't care about achievements at all. I literally. I found out I had the "Don't play the Stanley Parable for 5 years" achievement. That's the only one I'm proud
Wow.
of.
Now that one was like, dude, you made an achievement for that? Like,
Yeah.
why?
It's very the Stanley Parable though. I like it.
Fair.
I do like it. Yeah, I made a feta fucking
Fettuccine.
no feta French toast today. I'm gonna post a picture of it in studio. And honestly, it was a bit underwhelming. So it was good.
Now feta cheese is just underwhelming to me.
No, I love feta cheese. I'm a huge fan of feta
Meh.
cheese. When I
Oh, hi,
saw
Cody.
Cody, we just got done talking about unions and collective action.
You missed out, man.
But because like I saw the recipe video, Chef John was talking about how like this feta French toast thing is the best thing since like French toast. But honestly, it was it was good. It just wasn't like great. And also I fucked
Now,
up the second batch because I decided
wait,
to
did
put
I?
them in like 10 seconds longer. I did 2 batches. This is just the one that was fine. I decided to put it in like 10 seconds longer, and somehow in those 10 seconds they burned completely. But such is the
I don't
risk of
know.
working with like an electric stove because they can be irregular at times.
I don't know if I talked about this before, but on the previous stream, I mean.
Yeah.
But I went with my sister out one night because she was working at a new place and she wanted to show me. I was like, I don't have anything better to do, so why not? She was working at a pub and she had these they had these halloumi fries, and the guys at the pub were like, so the actual servers there were like, yeah, no, the halloumi fries are the best thing. The nachos are the worst.
Yeah.
So naturally, we were both.
Yeah.
Because I've been to pubs before, and I've tasted shitty pub food. So I was like, yeah, let's see how the nachos do.
That's
And
why
so-
I feel like that's like half the reason why you go to the pub is because the food is shit.
No, you only go there to get drunk, and the food is an afterthought if you are drunk.
Yeah, yeah.
You
it's like
never,
it's
Ever
like
go.
the fucking the kebab shop outside the club is the best kebab shop if you are drunk.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But the other thing was, what was it? Oh yeah, so we ordered some chicken as well, which was Korean style barbecue for some reason. A lot of other things as well that I can't remember, but turns out the halloumi fries were absolutely dog shit, and the nachos were not gaunchier, but they were good for pub nachos.
Aren't they? Aren't halloumi fries like the squeaky? Or am I mixing this up?
Yes, yes,
I
halloumi is
fucking
squeaky.
hate that shit. No, I cannot.
You know,
abide
the
squeaky
halloumi
things.
fries were like way too oily, very little so deep fried, so very little batter on them. Or wait, was it too much batter? I can't remember. I wasn't drunk, but I can't remember the food for the halloumi fries.
Yeah.
That yeah, either too much batter or too little. I can't remember. But the one thing I can't remember: too oily and too salty. Just like bad combination.
Big no. Also, Cody, if you're speaking, we can't hear you. I'm not sure.
Nope, just have nothing to add about kebabs.
Had nothing to add about unionization and collective bargaining?
I wasn't here for that. You guys said we just got done with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you fucking numb.
That
Just
looks like
talking about
fried
my
cheese. That is
experience.
because that is fried cheese. That's very accurately identified that is in fact fried cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tomorrow I'm going to try making shit, do I have time tomorrow even? There's a lot of shit I have to get done. I might try making some and you know what? I'm gonna get a kebab tomorrow for food. But I'm gonna make like muffins with croissant, and pecan.
Muffins with croissant.
Yeah, you basically instead of like making muffin batter, you make you like cut up a croissant and you like wrap it in a way that it turns. You like put it in the fill the the shell the form the tin muffin tin, and then there's like a pecan filling that is in the recipe. I want to try that out. That's also a Chef John recipe. Um, I've gone very well
Chef
with
John.
this stuff. I love Chef John. It's just that this particular recipe, I was like, it's not
Could
that
care less
good.
for it.
Hmm?
Could care less for it.
Again, it's good. It wasn't as amazing as he claimed. Because usually when he says this is like amazing, it kind of is.
So he lied to you.
Yeah, I think that he, with ill intent, lied to me on purpose.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, Cody, do you have any kind of stories of like working overtime?
I once worked a 16-hour shift overnight.
Oh,
I then fell
Jesus.
asleep driving on the way home.
Holy
Damn.
Jesus! How do you survive?
Um, I mean, it wasn't like a hard job; it was security. So
Oh,
I just sort of stayed up and watched videos and stuff
Jesus.
because they didn't get any
That's-
car. They didn't get any cars coming into like the security shack thing I was in. It was basically I had to stay awake was the only problem.
We'll see.
But I mean, I work hourly at like a like a software development company now. So I mean, like
Yeah.
they don't want me working overtime because that means I got to pay more money.
Yeah.
Would they
Unless I
not
like have
try
to.
and get you in like a gotcha situation where you have to work overtime, but they don't have to pay you? Or do you have a union? Is what I'm trying.
Oh, I don't have a union, no, but I mean I'm a software developer, so like it's a bit different when you have high skilled labor. I mean, I would definitely benefit from a union, but I am definitely at my company not the person to unionize because my father is the is runs a big part of it,
So
and
Yeah,
therefore
that
it
nepotism.
would
might be a
seem it's
problem.
very poor form for me to
So-
form a union.
So nepotism, it would seem.
I
Pretty
mean,
cringe,
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Look, man, I got to pay my rent.
That is,
I don't know if you
I
vote for me.
get you.
We
You
do.
could
I need
always
to-
That
just
being
live
said,
in
I
a
have done
box.
every shit. Listen, it's nepotism that I got the position, but I have done every shit job at that company. Holy shit!
Oof.
I have done
Nah.
everything from video editing to graphic design, proposal making, configuration management, logistics management, software development, software testing. I learned how to fly a fucking Apache helicopter.
Who the fuck do you work for?
I work for a military contractor.
That would explain it.
I always love when you mention that. It's so.
That I can fly a helicopter.
Yeah, and specifically an Apache helicopter.
Well, I don't. I mean, I'm sure I could probably fly a Black Hawk too, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, you
I
could fly
focused
a
mainly on like the
Black
weapon
Hawk,
systems and
huh?
communication systems, but I'm just a good pilot on it, I guess. So
A Black Cock helicopter.
got him.
Got him. Hey.
How did you learn to cook? You sound very experienced. I'm not, actually. I only learned to cook, like... I started cooking seriously, like, 2 years ago, at the beginning of the pandemic. And I've gradually been increasing my skills. There's a lot of shit that are very
The thing is, you
standard.
don't learn to cook. You never learn to cook. You
Yeah.
do trial and error.
I watch a lot of cooking videos.
Is
Not
re-
Gordon
yeah.
Ramsay. I don't find his stuff particularly because Gordon Ramsay is like basically the meme of the boomer estimating a house price.
That is
Wouldn't-
true.
I would disagree. I would say that's more Jamie Oliver.
Well, that him too, but like fucking. Gordon Ramsay has worked at like high-end restaurants his entire life, and like not only does he have a distorted sense of how accessible certain ingredients are that he just knows how to get,
Yeah,
but
just get
also
some
how,
saffron, dude.
Yeah.
Just buy a little bit of saffron. It's
but also
fine.
like how easy
Yeah, that's
things
fair.
are to do. Right?
Yeah, there's a really good video by Up Is Not Jump where he tries to make Gordon Ramsay's fucking what was it called?
I just
Beef
want to
Wellington.
say,
Beef. Well, I
Um,
knew you were gonna say that. I just didn't say it
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah, his beef Wellington recipe, and it is fucking hilarious because it shows like a guy who does not have a lot of experience cooking trying to do something like that.
Yeah, and this is his. Oh, this
I
is
want to
so easy.
say, I want to say that Up is Not Jump is an amazing YouTuber.
Yeah, for sure.
unironically, he
And
did.
this is not coming from my what's the word, bias as a Brit person, as a Brit bonk.
Him being British is his greatest flaw.
You take that back, you
Yes.
bastard. You take that back.
No, your country sucks.
Yeah, I agree.
You do have some
I
pretty
honestly,
good-
I have the best deal because the one thing that is like a positive out of being British is the accent, because it gets you pussy. I get all of the benefits
only
of
only if you're a chap, only if you're like low end
no,
of the spectrum of
honestly,
British.
if I
like
this,
if you
this
are
accent,
high class,
this accent
if you are
has
high
gotten
class,
me
you
pussy.
you better fucking be. If you are high class, you better be the biggest of chats or the most handsomest looking motherfuckers in the world.
Like,
Because
if you
there is
don't
no
like
way we
this,
are-
right, this is what people think about when they say British accent in it. But the way I talk,
You're sounding like a bit of a farmer, ain't you?
yeah, that's the kind of shit that
Turns
that's the
people on.
one advantage of being British. And I got that, and I have none of the drawbacks, which is literally everything else. First and
Fuck you,
foremost,
bastard.
the
You
fact
stole from
that
our
you
culture.
are British.
You stole from us.
Yes, I did.
This is
I
cultural
did.
appropriation.
I honestly,
Heck
I did
yeah.
actually
Freaking
think about
based.
this because back when I basically first chose my accent, I was a lot more
You
into the Scottish.
chose.
Yeah, I did. I used
Yeah,
to
you did.
speak. I used to speak with an American accent, and I decided, you know what, this is actually very disgusting. I don't like the way that this feels in my mouth.
I don't even know what an American accent is because there's so many dialects in America.
Yeah.
Well, it would be like the American received pronunciation type deal.
Oh, you know what? I'm pretty sure that is actually from like I'm pretty sure that's actually from like the I know what you're talking about, and I saw a thing on this. Apparently, it's like some sort of like thing from like I think it's like Michigan or something like that,
Yeah.
like somewhere in like the Midwest, in like the Midwest is like just a guy came from there who made that, and so that's decided to be the American accent.
It's like the High German dialect is also just from Hanover. That's the German
Yeah.
that became the German.
The German accent is very, very good.
And yeah, I used to, because I learned English primarily through watching Ray William Johnson, and but
Oh,
it
my
just it
God.
felt disgusting in my mouth eventually.
My God, you're so cringe.
I didn't. Yeah, I was.
Everybody
I,
unsubscribe from Burger.
I was also
Everybody just
14 years old.
unsubscribe.
See, the true burger fans
Still
already knew about all this.
Yeah, exactly. Cody knew this.
Yeah, because you did that whole episode where you spoke in Spanish the whole time.
Yeah, the deep lore, the burger.
Yeah, the deep lore.
And
Oh,
yeah,
what was
basically,
that
I was a
meme
big
about?
fan. I was a
I'm
big
going
fan
to.
of the Scottish
Oh,
accent
sorry.
at the time, and I thought, well, but the thing is, I can't just start talking with a Scottish accent. I've never even been to Scotland. I'm not related to anyone from Scotland. Like that would be like racist somehow.
Is it racist to do that? I don't.
It feels like that to me. If
You
that-
can't be racist
it's
to
not
white
like-
people, my man.
Not in the
Don't you
sense
know?
of like just doing the accent would be, but just like doing it as my main accent with which I speak. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to do German.
Just say I
Don't
learned how to
watch
speak English
this
from
on
watching
here
Mel
because
Gibson
you will be-
movies.
Burger, don't watch this on here because you will have like a fucking copyright strike or whatever. Watch it in your own time, but just watch that. That's like Burger lore. Like that entire song, it just encapsulates Burger lore.
Okay. I will. Yes.
Oops.
I will do that. But yeah, that's why I don't speak. That's why I speak like. And also, I mean, at this
Darn it.
point, this is not like the classic received pronunciation in England thing. It's evolved over time. This is just how I speak when I don't do an accent. So there's a little bit of American, a little bit of Australian, sometimes even a little bit of Scottish in here. Looks like you have died.
Oh no, poor Cassie. Poor
Gosh,
Cassie.
dang it. There's so many gamers.
So many gamers.
Yeah. Does anyone, do
My
any
game.
of you like forget the joke of the title though? Even chat. Does anyone?
I
Like,
haven't
really.
seen the
Of
title.
I don't know what the title is. Hold on.
Yeah. Yeah. You might actually get it.
Bold of you two seem like
Yeah. Hey,
anything.
Cassie. Question: How do you find the new synthetic?
The new synthetic?
Synthetic 2. Have you played it?
No, I haven't played the first one either.
What? My dude. Fucking cringe.
Wrecked. Damn, this game looks cool
see.
though. I like it.
Meh.
It would be
Fun.
Playing
honestly.
some synthetic 2 at the moment.
I would like it a lot more if it was humans instead of dwarves. I'm such a fucking
Oh my goodness.
What a
racial
racist.
purist.
Oh my god. You racial
you
purist
can-
motherfucker.
I'm
You
the
can just
guy who
pretend
will-
that you're a...
Yeah.
You can just pretend you're like a really short man.
Like everyone is. I'm the guy who like just will usually play human characters.
I usually human as well. Sometimes I'll play other
Human's
things.
pretty
I
cool,
tend to prefer
yeah.
human or half human just because the cultures involved in them are a lot more like familiar, and so if it's the first time around in like a setting, I'll tend to do that. I mean, I do like occasionally like playing like tieflings
Yeah.
or like
When I play something else, there's a reason why I'm doing it.
yeah, like there's a greater character concept in mind
Yeah.
that is beyond
Yeah.
just playing that race.
But
Yeah,
that's just
I
how
agree.
I
Human's pretty
personally
cool.
do it. Although sometimes I do like just let's do a weird combination of shit. But
Other than that, like I
the-
remember I made a halfling paladin one time that was like
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people are just people and they do certain things. I like actually Goliath Stone Sorcerer is alright. But a character that I want to play that I haven't gotten a chance to yet because I've never been offered a spot in a naval themed campaign. That's the only place where I'd play it is a hobgoblin paladin of the open sea. And
that'd be cool. Yeah. There's a good Pathfinder adventure path that's in water.
Yeah.
There's a lot of archetypes in Pathfinder for pirate shit.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
I really need to start playing some Pathfinder. I've heard good
Like
things
every
about
class has a pirate themed like thing to it. It's like some archetype.
I don't.
Mine,
I
I think, was
don't like D&D, so I don't know if I should play Pathfinder.
Probably not, because it's basically just D&D, but it like adds an
More
extra layers
autistic.
of complexity.
Yeah.
It's D&D, but more autistic.
But is
Yeah.
it more customizable?
Oh,
It
absolutely.
is.
Because that's
100%.
something.
Yes.
Actually, that is actually something. It's not like the thing that pisses me off about D&D sometimes is not so much the complexity of it, but like the fact that you customize it in a way where it's just you have to hand wave a lot of shit. You know?
14, 17, 18, 19, 20, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 30, 31,
Yeah.
37. There are 37 base classes. Each one has probably around 10 archetypes, and that's not counting prestige classes,
Yeah, or a third
which are
party.
like I don't even know how many prestige classes there are. A lot.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
I've
there
just
is-
completely changed to the whole power tag system, so I no longer exist.
No, I get it. Yeah, I know your gripes with D&D and shit like that. But sometimes it's nice to play it. It's just a little bit of,
it's classic.
fantasy
It's
D&D.
a classic.
Yeah, exactly. It's like having a Coca-Cola.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's nice. I would love to play a good D&D campaign. The problem is, I really want to play an Icewind Dale campaign, like as a player. I don't want to run D&D. I'm gonna be running D&D soon because this is a promise I made like 2 years ago, and now people are coming to collect. Um, but I would like to be, but for that I need to have like good people that I play with, and also I need a good GM. But because
Yeah.
D&D is so incredibly popular, I feel like a lot of GMs are just garbage.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But
Oh, you want to hear something funny about my first time playing tabletop RPG?
Yeah.
I just need to fucking turn down the sound for this. I'm playing a video game. So my first time playing a TTRPG was we were playing, if I recall correctly, a sci-fi TTRPG. I can't remember the name, but I had chosen a demolition expert Velociraptor for some reason. Can't remember why.
Based
And so
though.
our mission, yeah, it was just like a preliminary thing where it was just like a one mission, one kind of session thing. And basically, our entire job was just we were mercenaries hired to monitor a party, make sure everything went fine, yada yada yada. At one point, we managed to find a bomb underneath the place we were supposed to be guarding. And in my stupid head, deciding to take the leadership role during this entire thing, I thought, hey, how about we not warn the captain about this and I just run off with the bomb?
Genius.
Yeah, jeez.
Genius.
No, and then like an entire revolution happened while I was holding the bomb. I was like, oh shit.
Very unfortunate, honestly. Actually, I played a sci-fi system once where my character was a dolphin. He was in a human body, like he had transferred his mind to a human body, and he was so disgusted with hair that he genetically modified the body to have absolutely no hair at all. I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Get this off of me. That was a fun thing. But like sometimes if you play, especially sci-fi games, I feel like like you're going, oh, we're playing a sci-fi game. There's so many different expectations and so many different like standards of knowledge, so many different tropes that people have been exposed to. Because there is one fantasy system and it's D&D. I feel like there isn't one sci-fi system. Like,
no, not really.
Yeah.
Most people would probably honestly, I don't know. It depends on what type of sci-fi it is.
Yeah, exactly. There you have once again. Then you have already the different kinds of sci. You don't have that like you do all kinds of fantasy and fantasy. You know, oh, for fuck's sake, what the fuck is that? That is disgusting.
I think people just, in terms of fantasy, people look to D&D because it's like the closest equivalent to like Lord of the Rings, which is sort of the prime fantasy property. Like all fantasy sort of stems from that.
Yeah. And there's a lot of like because science fiction to a certain extent also is requires a certain degree of scientific education. If depending on the kind of sci-fi that you want to play, and if you don't know enough about it, you might have very strange and disjointed expectations of what is going to happen.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and what's even worse is that sometimes people have expectations about like real world science that contradicts like science as it exists as a force in a property.
Yeah.
This was a big problem I ended up having. I had a player who was playing a Decker in Shadowrun, and the way the Matrix works in Shadowrun is like nothing like it works in the real world.
Yeah.
Like it is nothing like it.
Yeah, they don't have like data indexing and shit as far as I understand it.
No, they don't have like servers. It's entirely like it's almost like a web-based peer-to-peer network that like generates like hosts aren't even like developed. Like you don't like open up your fucking HTML and like type out a fucking like like any sort of like protocols. You grow it from the fucking foundation, which who knows what that is?
Yeah.
Some technomancer brains hooked together or some shit. And so like the way like technology works in that universe is so different that a lot of people will have expectations for how it should work based on, because obviously I end up playing with motherfuckers who have like, degrees in computer science and shit. They're like, what if we just destroy the nearby radio tower? Like, that's not a thing.
Yeah, that's not.
That's not really a thing.
Yeah, I mean, especially there, because I mean, it's one thing to be like, oh, physics works different here, because then you're like, excuse me, what the fuck do you mean physics works different here? For this kind of ultimately socially constructed thing, I feel like that can become like even more frustrating.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Weren't the Matrix rules developed before the internet was a thing in a big way, or am I like really misinterpreting the?
No, the internet existed when the Matrix, because Shadowrun was made, I think, in 1989. So the internet as a technology existed.
Yeah.
It just wasn't as widespread, and it definitely didn't have wireless.
Yeah.
Wireless internet was not a thing in Shadowrun until 4th edition.
Yeah.
It's funny if you look in the old like Cyberpunk and like Shadowrun books, it'll mention like cell phones existing as like these big brick phones, and they are so expensive. Like it is ridiculous. Meanwhile, you can have your genes edited for like a couple of fucking bucks.
Yeah. I like the wireless aspect of hacking. I like wireless hacking, but I also like the idea of plugging into a certain point, because it's a dramatic tension type moment. And
Shadowrun makes it pretty easy to do that, because you can just disable any sort of wireless connectivity to a device, and then they have to plug in.
Yeah. I always like when I come up with settings and stuff like this, I feel like there needs to be an incentive to plug in.
Yeah, usually just shielding, like wireless shielding works well for that.
Also,
Fifth edition actually.
I really
Fifth
like
edition's rules actually.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Fifth edition's rules actually give a big incentive for plugging in, because if you're hacking into a host via wireless, you go against the full stats of the host, and hosts are beefy. Like they have like something like 14 to like 16 dice to roll, like on average. But if you go into the site and plug into one of its devices, you go against the ratings of that device you're plugging into, and if that's connected to the host, that gives you connectivity to the entire host.
Yeah, that's a very cool way of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it gives you options while at the same time also, like, preserving the cool aesthetic.
If your decker is good enough, he can hack everything from a fucking coffee shop, but if he's not, then maybe your entire team has to go in to break in, to then hack into the place, to then get the information you need.
Yeah. Which is what you want, really. Because otherwise it's just the entire show is the decker sitting in a coffee shop.
Well, it depends, because sometimes what they need from the host is just like schematics on the whole building so they can plan. So then they have to kind of stage 2 break-ins, kind of.
Yeah, I would always handle that in a way that would be dramatically appropriate, I suppose. Anyway, we are out of time for the stream today. Thank you all very much for watching and staying on. It's been real. Join your union.
Yep.
Bye.
Yep. Base.